Because the simple matter of the fact is, it's just not true. One day in the near future, maybe I'll set up a podcast or a one-off show and I will bring on the exact same amount of women, all from a Western country, who have completely opposite mindsets to prove to you guys that these women still exist. Now, if you don't know, Fresh and Fit is a podcast based out of Miami, Florida, whereby the two hosts challenge and expose the contradictory and often delusional mindsets and standards that modern day Western women have for men. Meanwhile, encouraging men to become the best versions of themselves, with a massive part being so they can attract and be with the women they desire, which is arguably a positive message overall. However, there are some dangerous issues and toxic messages being portrayed that need to be addressed. Now, if you're someone who consumes this content regularly, especially if you have a lack of experience with women in real life, then there's a chance that you can be probably left feeling with hopelessness and even resentful, in the sense that all modern day women are now trash and only want to use you for your money and status.
Would you, what would it take for you to remove your Instagram and or take, provocative pictures of yourself off the internet? And most of you said pretty much like you're not changing. Some of you wanted marriage, loyalty, etc. And then we asked you guys when you're going to go out to the club with your girls and the guy tells you, hey, I would like you to change. Some of you said you would change. Some of you said you wouldn't change. Some of you said the outfit needs to be paid for. But all of you pretty much agreed that the man needs to be your boyfriend.
Yeah.
He can't be a guy that you're dealing with. And I'm just going to assume that the guy is what you described to me here, which is what you want and the bare minimum, because that's what we asked y'all. Hey, bare minimum height, bare minimum income. And you guys pretty much described generally the same guy. I did the math here. And on average, from what you guys want for income, it's about $178,000 per year is what, and from the different heights here, it's about 6 feet tall. So, Chris, go ahead and pull up our calculator real quick. Because I find it very interesting how you guys are not willing to change or, bend or fold or anything like that for a man, a man's requirements. And I think I'm going to have to kind of give you guys a nice little reminder as to how rare this man is that you guys are actually describing. So go ahead and max it out to 100
Build the man.
something.
Yeah, so build the man.
We all have preferences, we all have preferences.
We got your preferences, and we put it only
I
with
want
two
to build
metrics.
the man.
All right,
That
so
part.
ladies, please stop interrupting. All right, go ahead and put it to put 20. What's the youngest girl here? 18. Go ahead and put 21 to 40, and then go ahead and put for races. We'll just check them all. We'll give them the best chances here. Okay. All right, and then height, put 6 feet tall. And then put dwelling, it doesn't matter. Schooling, we'll put doesn't matter. We'll try to give the girls the best advantage. We'll put obese, no. I don't think any of you guys would want a fat guy, correct?
I like
I like a belly.
Obese, just so y'all understand, obese is about 30 pounds overweight.
They got floppies
He's
on them.
really fat.
Ew.
Okay, and then
sorry, Mo.
I'm assuming none of y'all would deal with a married guy, correct?
No.
He's got to be, okay.
He got to be single.
All right, so ladies, I'm just putting here very general, 6 feet tall, making $102,000 per year. This isn't even hitting what some of y'all wanted. Some of you guys wanted triple, quadruple this. So let's go ahead and find out how common this guy is.
Delusional score. Y'all make this calculator.
I'm done.
Where does calculator came from?
Cat food.
What is what?
So we have a score here.
0.26161. What?
He
So-
put on cat food?
So you guys,
Which in turn can transform into a bitterness and will only leave you chasing a form of playboy lifestyle, leaving carnage and heartache for many women who come into your life and actually don't deserve that, and essentially causing a further divide between women and men. Because quite frankly, there are still plenty of good, high value women still out there, and yes, they exist here in the Western world. But before we get into that, I want to make it clear that I'm not saying that the Fresh and Fit podcast, in particular Myron, isn't highlighting and exposing a serious ongoing problem in Western society where many women have been influenced and manipulated into believing they can behave exactly like men and retain their value. Because promiscuity of women that is so heavily promoted is certainly out of control at this point. And as much as women argue men can do it and we can't, deep down they know it isn't right. And situations like this constantly occur on the show because of that.
At all.
cool. And then go ahead, Sneeko, your favorite part.
Body count? I'm not saying.
3.
Why is everyone lying, man?
No, one girl's been honest.
Yo.
I'm banned. I don't give a fuck anymore. Can we have some honesty on this panel?
The show also highlights the unrealistic expectations women have about men in general and having outrageously inflated egos due to social media attention, all of which has completely messed up the dating scene dynamics where a small minority of men are attracting and sleeping with a large majority of the women, which means a large majority of men and teenagers are lonelier than ever. In short, Myron is reality checking a vast majority of these women, and I actually rarely see any able to argue against many of his statements, so salute to him for that. However, what's important to realize with this show is understanding the location and demographic of women who come onto the show. Now, I've known about the show for a long time, but never really bothered to watch it until recently when they made the jump to Rumble. And I'd say I've watched about 20 episodes prior to making this video to get a full understanding and scope of what the show is actually all about. The reason I'm making this video is that it's truly mind-blowing that out of the 20-ish episodes I've watched, with them having 8 girls on each show, only 1 woman out of the 160 who I've seen appear in these episodes had a mindset and carried herself in a way which any self-respecting man would actually want to wife. In other words, only one had a high-value mindset and carried herself under traditional morals and values. Now this is where the problem is, as it is painting an image that all, or at least 90% of modern women, especially in the Western world, have the mindsets and expectations and behave like those on the show, when in reality, this is certainly not the case. Now, I can only speak from personal experience and experience with those who I know and have been around, and I can firmly say there are plenty of women out there who think nothing like the way these women do. And yes, they exist here in the Western world. Well, at least they do in the UK. So again, this show is a representation of a certain type of women, which is the issue. I mean, just look at how many of them do OnlyFans. Almost half of them, or even more, on every show do OnlyFans. If I went down to central London right now and stood there for 6 hours, how many women do you think would say, oh yeah, I do OnlyFans? This unjust representation is a serious issue, as it's sending out a message to men that all women are now like this.
Average guy, 5'8",
They're all
50K
gonna
per
say-
year.
they're all going to say long-term boyfriend.
Okay, let's see.
Instagram.
Okay.
What?
Instagram.
Instagram, okay. Instagram, okay.
Oh, Judean's getting red pill right now.
Okay, what about you?
Probably Instagram.
Okay.
What the fuck?
All right, what about you?
Come on, main character.
I would say long-term boyfriend.
Thank you. Okay, you've done better.
Bro, you know, don't let them pressure you. Well,
Yeah.
keep it 1,000. Would it be Instagram or would it be the boyfriend?
Me?
Remember, 50K
Nah,
per year,
deadass.
5'8".
Long-term boyfriend.
Okay, all right.
Actually, a husband.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah, she's doing good. She's doing good.
Stop the cap. All right, what about you, Mr. Troy?
I probably already knew, but Instagram.
What the fuck?
And then Novelas, what about you?
I would say Instagram. I haven't met.
Which can lead them to become full of bitterness towards women, because even if they do become successful and now start to attract and have the pick of women, they will assume they are all like this and just end up using them and falling down a hole of hedonism. However, this is certainly not the case. There are many women out there who understand and value that sleeping with lots of men, exposing themselves online for likes and attention are all things that decrease their value to a certain caliber of man. And although they may get the attention of men, attention does not equal respect or mean that a man will take these women seriously. And now there's also another point I want to raise. If you're a guy and you keep finding yourself in relationships, attracting or going after these 3 or 4 types that are on the show, then I think you also need to take some form of self-accountability. I was in a long-term relationship previously, and my ex upheld all the traditional values of loyalty, self-respect, letting her man lead, being in her feminine state, etc. And since the end of that relationship, all of the women I have come close to have also been those who appreciate and believe in traditional values. Now, why is this, do you think? Well, I asked myself the same question, and during a certain stage in my life, when I carried myself a certain way, all I attracted was a certain type of woman, as Fresh and Fit would say, is 3 or 4s. And those were even the type I would pursue because of what I wanted in my time of life. Now, if you're that type of guy and you only seem to be attracting and pursuing those sorts of girls, then I think you don't really have much of a right to complain, and you need to take some self-accountability for that. You need to adjust and focus on how you carry and present yourself, and I guarantee you'll start to notice you attract and begin to interact with women even in this Western world, who actually do value traditional values. On another note, which relates to the men who consume this content and lack in life experience with women, Myron himself also admits to never having been in love. Like,
Been in love?
To a woman?
Yeah.
I've had love for women, but I don't think.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think it's in a man's best interest to be in love with a woman.
But I
You
feel
lose
can't-
control.
So I feel like everything and your standpoint on women is gonna change the moment you like meet the right woman. Yeah.
That's cute, but no. I mean, I have, I've had love for women, but I'm never gonna fall in love with a woman because when you fall in love with a woman, what happens is you start to lose grounding and you start to lose that rational thought. A lot of the stupid things that men do is because of love.
So you're scared to be vulnerable
No.
and let yourself go and be in love. Like you're gonna block yourself from like emotion and to feel for something that could be really amazing for you because you're scared to be vulnerable.
No, because I understand that men and women are different, and men love women far differently than women love men.
due to this, what you have to understand that his understanding of a long-term committed relationship between a man and a woman is limited, in my personal opinion. Now, I do agree with him when he says that being in love can be a massive hindrance and detrimental to a man because we do the stupidest things and often neglect ourselves when in love. Trust me, I know. But what you have to understand is that at the end of the day, nobody gets out of love alive. Love is pain to an extent. You either go through heartbreak when the relationship ends due to whatever reason that may be, betrayal, money issues, etc. Or if you're lucky and blessed enough to have a lifelong partner you actually love and are content with, then you will still end up hurt in the end when they pass away, or they will end up being hurt when you do. The point is, you need to be willing to accept and understand that with love, inevitably comes pain. And you just need to ask yourself whether is that love worth the pain. So, the message behind this video is to highlight to you guys out there constantly consuming this type of content, please do not become overwhelmed and hopeless, and even bitter or resentful towards women in thinking that every woman or even a large majority of modern women think like this, and thinking that achieving success and then just plowing through endless women will bring you happiness and fulfillment, because trust me, it won't. When you unplug from the internet and carry yourself in a certain manner, you will see that there are plenty of good women still out there who uphold and respect traditional values. So don't get lost, just don't get lost in it. That's all, literally. So, and because there's so many women who still believe in being the feminine counterpart to their masculine partner. So don't lose hope, don't become bitter, and focus on becoming the better version of yourself to attract those good, worthy women. And please do not fall victim to the ever-growing men vs women narratives being so heavily pushed by multiple communities today.